A BlackRock recruiter was caught on camera talking about how they bribe politicians. Bitcoin finally climbs back to $30,000. And then Ripple gets a in-payment license in Singapore. And how's this going to affect the company and the XRP price? Make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of this video to find out. Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me, if you guys can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. And if you guys could, share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started, today's going to be Thursday, June 22nd. The total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $1,170,000,000,000. Bitcoin right now is currently trading at $30,057, Ethereum $1,883, and XRP right now at 50.03 cents. So just staying right above 50 cents. The biggest gainers and losers on the day today. KS is going to be our biggest gainer, up 9.2%. BSV is going to be up 8.4%. And Pepe is going to be up 5.5%. There was some news about VeChain. That's why that's up right now, up 3.5%. How it finally got listed on a roadmap to get onto Coinbase's exchange. Biggest losers on the day today. Pulse Chain is going to be our biggest loser, down 8.1%. Gala is going to be down 7.4%. And Flow is going to be down 7.6%. Mainly in the red today. And that's because we're down 1.15%. Getting into our Watcher Guru news, we talked about this a little bit, but the International Monetary Fund is developing a digital currency platform to enable transactions between countries. And we're going to talk about how Ripple might be linked to this. Bitcoin did reach $27,000 on June 19th, which was the last video. MasterCard files trademark application to develop crypto and blockchain software. It's crazy to see that the old financial markets right now are trying to get into crypto right now because they know that they're going to get taken over if they don't. And that's why, in my opinion, again, no financial advice, but that's why the SEC has been doing a lot of these lawsuits at cryptocurrency companies right now, is because they want to get rid of the current exchanges on the markets right now and still use the current payment systems that we have for our old technology, which is a lot of our banks and institutions that we have right now. Germany's $1.4 trillion asset manager, Deutsche Bank, applies for regulatory license to operate crypto custody service. Again, outside the United States, crypto keeps on dominating. We'll see eventually if the US starts to adopt some of this stuff. Romanian prosecutor seized 21 Bitcoin, roughly $565,000 from Andrew Tate. Him and his brother are still going through a bunch of stuff right now in Romania. We'll see what happens with that. The biggest news, though, since the last video was Citadel, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab launched new crypto exchange platform, EDX Markets. We'll see what happens with this, but it's just crazy that the SEC is suing all of our current exchanges like Coinbase and Binance right now, the biggest ones that are in the United States right now, but still allowing Citadel, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab to create their own crypto exchange, EDX Markets. And obviously, we haven't seen any regulatory clarity with them yet. I know that they really haven't operated as a unregistered licensed broker, dealer, trader, or whatever the SEC wants to do with these play on words. But eventually, are they going to get sued by the SEC, or is the SEC going to say, you know what, we're going to take a step back because we like you and you guys have deep money in our pockets for our federal government? Bitcoin reaches $28,000 on the 20th. The Pentagon accounting error provides an additional $6.2 billion for Ukraine. We're going to talk about this because this is probably one of the biggest things that our federal government put on stress for our financial markets, because we kind of need to raise our debt ceiling. We did, but why did our debt ceiling need to get raised? Well, this mismanagement of funds, providing an extra $6.2 billion. If I file with the IRS and I mismanage some of the money that I made, say I made 50,000, but I only reported 45,000, I have to pay a huge fine and face jail time. But our federal government can send this over, account it as an accounting error, and still we're sending over millions and millions of dollars. I think to date we've still sent over $113 billion to Ukraine, and we're still going to keep on sending more. I think we should? Absolutely not. But I do think that they're not going to account for this accounting error, and we're still going to send over more money. Bitcoin reached $29,000 on the 20th. $87 billion asset manager Willow Tree files for a spot ETF Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. Again, this is the reason why all these prices for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency are going up, in my opinion, is because everyone's filing for these spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now, BlackRock was caught with a recruiter saying politicians are easy to buy and war is good for business. He says this, it looks like he's on a date with somebody. This video is 11 minutes long. I would highly encourage you guys to go and watch this. But this happened on 6/19/2023. It was immediately released. BlackRock hasn't officially said anything right now. As far as I've researched, they haven't come out with anything. But in my opinion, this is really huge. This just shows that our politicians are easily bribed. Money talks, and we're seeing it with our federal government right now. We're going to talk about what's been going on with our federal government outside the financial markets. $1.5 trillion asset manager Invesco reactivates spot Bitcoin ETF. $1.5 trillion. They filed last year and revoked it, so they didn't get denied by the SEC, but now they refiled it and they think it's going to pass now, especially with BlackRock, Citadel, Fidelity, Willow Tree, all of them filing for Bitcoin spot ETFs. Investico finally thinks that theirs is going to get approved along with all the others. FED chair Jerome Powell says we see stablecoins as a form of money. This is kind of backtracks what him and Janet Yellen have been saying for a number of years, trying to get rid of cryptocurrency, saying that it's too volatile, but now saying that we see stablecoins as a form of money. Obviously, they're trying to perpetrate and improve investor confidence in the markets, especially with them trying to launch Fed now. Coming later this month, we'll see what happens though if they actually actually put it in, or if they're going to wait another month to do it. Bitcoin reached $30,000 yesterday. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says crypto appears to have staying power as an asset class. Again, going after stablecoins as well as crypto assets as well, saying that he sees them. In my opinion, he's in the kind of money shambles right now. What's going on with BlackRock and everything else, trying to say, you know what, we can definitely see this as a positive for our financial markets, especially with the US dollar keep on failing. Investment firm Valkyrie files for Bitcoin spot ETF. Turkey central bank raises interest rates to 15%. This is just crazy to me. 15% interest rates, that's ridiculous. You have to pay that every single month, 15%. It blows my mind. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says it's appropriate to raise interest rates another 2 times this year. We've already talked about this, and this is why, in my opinion, when the Fed paused interest rates earlier this month for the last Fed meeting, but did say that they're planning on raising it another 2 times before the end of the year. That's why we didn't see crypto or stocks go up that much. $5 trillion French asset manager cases to offer crypto custody services. And this one was, in my opinion, really shocking to me because the SEC has been really against cryptocurrency, and seems like they've been in bed with JP Morgan and Chase and other big banks. But SEC finds JP Morgan after 47 million bank records were accidentally deleted. They were fined $4 million. We're going to talk about this in a second, though. But in my opinion, how do they lose 47 million banking records and emails? What were they trying to hide? President candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he will ensure that we have policies that support Bitcoin and the freedom to transact. Obviously, I don't think that he's going to win the Democratic candidacy. Normally, it goes to the last predecessor. If Biden wants to run again, I don't think the Democratic committee is going to host a primary for the Democrats to determine if somebody else is a better suit for the presidency other than Biden if he does again choose to run. But Biden was caught right here in May 5th of 2023 this year. Says, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him, and it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him. But Biden's son pled guilty to 3 different charges, 2 tax frauds and a gun charge. But in the plead, he's probably not gonna get any jail time. It was reported that this was by CNN. I know it says right here RNC, but CNN reported this, said that there was a 5-year secret investigation. In my opinion, there was no secret investigation for 5 years. If they even think about talking about investigating Trump, every news media outlet's putting it out there. But they've done a secret 5-year investigation into Hunter Biden and only found that he committed some crimes of 2 tax frauds and then 1 gun charge while he was on drugs is what they're doing. And again, they're not going to see any jail time. He's basically going to pay some small fine, And then as long as he's on probation for a couple of years for the guns, that he's not going to be taking any drugs, he is going to get away scot-free with this. And in my opinion, this is ridiculous. He was at a press event earlier today. There's pictures up online if you guys want to see it. But he was there, happy go lucky. In my opinion, this is a two-tiered system. Democrats don't get any jail time, face no punishments. The media just walks over it like it's a cakewalk. But President Trump, former President Trump's been through the ringer with all different types of lawsuits, investigations, and everything else like that. John Durham testifies today that President Obama, the CIA, and other DOJ officials all knew about Hillary's plan and still used it as evidence to go after Trump. During a House Judiciary Committee meeting being held today, John Durham testified that the FBI completely ignored Hillary Clinton's plan to link Trump to Russia and willingly accepted her politically funded research as a fact. So she used campaign funds to get a bunch of research on Russia and kind of tie it to Trump. And obviously through the last Steele dossier files and stuff like that. And then the Durham report, which is his last name, when he did his investigation, nothing was found and Trump was basically cleared of all wrongdoings. But the FBI said that there might be some collusion, in my opinion. This definitely affected our election. So last month, John Durham released a report that exposed the levels of corruption at the Department of Justice when it came to Donald Trump. He said during the meeting that the FBI and CIA knew the intel was politically motivated, but still used it to get a FISA warrant to spy on candidate Trump. And in my opinion, no other president, like Obama at the time, should be able to spy on your political opponent to try to get information to bar them or sway the public's opinion on them. And again, we're seeing that right now with former President Trump trying to run for re-election. The House has resolved that the House of Representatives censors Adam Schiff, representative of the 30th Congressional District of California, for misleading the American public for the conduct unbecoming of an elected member of the House of Representatives. And he used his power while he was in the House Intel Committee to lie to the American people. The bill passed, and now he can no longer speak in Congress. In my opinion, I think that this is a win because our elected representatives should not be lying to the American people. So this is the video, if you guys want to watch it, of the Pentagon announcing that they lost $6.2 billion due to an accounting error. And $6.2 billion is not just, some small amount of money. That's billions with a B. That's a lot of money for them just to willingly lose and then come up with it later on. Oh, sorry, it was an accounting error. How long did it take for you guys to realize that you sent over that much money and it was wrong? Jerome Powell expects more rate hikes. The battle to bring inflation down to 2% is far from over. The market is pricing in a 79% chance of a rate hike next month. The pause didn't last long. And in my opinion, I totally agree. We are going to see another rate hike. I thought we would see one this month, but Jerome Powell wants to wait for some reason. Moving on, the national debt has increased by $637 billion since the debt ceiling deal was reached 3 weeks ago. Here's when the debt ceiling was reached, and then here's where we are today. And we are in debt another $637 billion in just 3 weeks. Wall Street Silver jokes and says national debt to the moon, the one chart that will never have corrections. And in my opinion, if you could just bet on and invest in the national debt increasing, you'd become a millionaire in a matter of days. OceanGate founder and CEO says he broke some rules to make the Titanic submarine/submersible called Titan, and that's what he wants to be remembered for. So if you guys have been following any part of the news, basically there was a small submarine that was going to go visit the Titanic, look at it. Super rich and elite were in it, and right now it's speculated that it imploded. This is going to basically cripple the company, in my opinion. The CEO was on board, so I believe he is dead, along with everyone else on board. But you guys can do your own research on that. Binance launches a regulated crypto digital asset in Kazakhstan with local banking support. Again, Binance keeps operating outside of the United States because the US doesn't want Binance or any other crypto exchange, especially Coinbase, to succeed. But Binance, according to Angie, is set to integrate Bitcoin Lightning Network for deposits and withdrawals. In my opinion, I don't believe that this is really good news for Binance because the Lightning Network hasn't proven to be super efficient as they said that it should be. But we'll see what happens if they start using it. It's supposed to help with fees and stuff like that. But an aggressive move, according to Meta lawman, Binance has gone on the offense against the SEC in federal court. Lawyers for Binance defendants have filed a motion accusing the SEC of engaging in unethical conduct. This is a big deal. Let me explain. Binance has accused the SEC of violating court rules by making statements outside the court that are false, designed to harm Binance U.S. customers, and likely to taint the jury pool. Binance asked the court to order the SEC to comply with the applicable court rules. Binance argues that after entry of the order agreed to by the parties, the SEC issued a misleading press release claiming that it has secured emergency relief. CZ is commingled and diverted customer assets. And the order was essential to protecting investor assets. Binance argues that when questioned by the judge repeatedly, the SEC attorneys were unable to point to any evidence that CZ Binance had diverted any customer assets. Binance argues the SEC had violated not only court rules, but also the SEC's own code of conduct. And we've seen the SEC violate their code of conduct, especially in the Ripple versus the SEC case. In 2017, CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, said Bitcoin just shows how much demand for money laundering there is in the world. But last week, BlackRock filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Again, all these big companies right now are trying to hurt crypto. Back previously, they wanted to get in at a lower rate. I'm sure that they did. And now they're trying to support crypto. I'm sure their bags are officially packed. Now, their American people are going to start getting in once the SEC and Congress starts giving out regulatory clarity, and it's only going to keep on increasing the price of cryptocurrency. Jeremy Hogan jokes about the BlackRock video and says, P.S. Never be honest with a girl who is way out of your league. She has ulterior motives. Except me, I got lucky with him and his wife. He says he got lucky, but obviously if you go on dates with other women, obviously they want something, and it was just a slap in the face because now they got BlackRock on camera talking about how they bribe Congress. Now, SEC filings confirm Investico 1.49 trillion managers refiled their spot BTF. Again, this was after dropping it in 2021, so it wasn't last year, but it was 2 years ago. But all of this is just showing that, again, we're going to see the price of Bitcoin and crypto assets, in my opinion, increase. Wolf of Wall Street says the tide is turning, but not in the direction you think. The SEC has pushed too hard, too far, and too fast. The blowback will end with Gary Gensler at the SEC in a series of losses in court against the crypto industry. We will win this fight. Fire Gary Gensler. And again, we're seeing this right now play out. We talked about how Gary Gensler, Jerome Powell, and Janet Yellen might be on the chopping block. Now, Paul Grewal comes out and says the Third Circuit Court ruled that it will retain jurisdiction over our challenge to the SEC's inaction on our platform for basic rules of crypto. A further report is due in the next 120 days. We were grateful that the court will continue to shine a bright light on the SEC's process. And they go into detail about what's going on with this. But John Deaton says this forces the SEC to provide a real update on October 11th. The court is calling the SEC's bluff. The court could have dismissed, but chose to exercise the continuing jurisdiction. Now, in my opinion, again, I do see that this is the court just basically allowing the delay tactics by the SEC. I don't see this as a positive, but John Deaton does. But we've seen delay, and I continue to see delay from Congress, from the judges, and also from the SEC. Now, Mr. Huber points out in a freaking incredible, the SEC gives ConsenSys a free pass while the company is promoting on their website how they make millions and billions with ICOs. So basically, here's their website right here. And then they talk about how they make millions and billions of dollars from ICOs. And they basically promise that they're going to make a bunch of money if you guys invest in the company. But they don't get sued, but everyone else does. Now, this is the Prometheum CEO. He says that basically what's going to happen with Prometheum and all these other crypto exchanges that are filing for spot Bitcoin ETFs, they're going to become Wall Street 2.0. Again, this is trying to shut down the current. So there's a bunch of stuff going on right now saying that there's a crypto choke point and everything else. And now he's saying that this is Wall Street 2.0, not choke point 2.0. In my opinion, we'll see what happens, but I kind of agree with it. And again, Congress needs to start doing some more investigations because it takes so easy for the XRP community and other people in crypto, but mainly the XRP community, to find all these videos right here. Here's Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin. He meets with Chinese whales to discuss potential partnerships and acquisitions. Right here, Dr. Zhou, chairman and CEO of Zhang Blockchain, says that he gave $500,000 donation to the Ethereum Foundation while promising to continually support the development of Ethereum as needed. So basically, he gets a $500,000 donation. But what do we know? Vitalik Buterin sits as a co-founder right here on the Zang Blockchain Labs. So it's kind of crazy that he's listed as a co-founder of the blockchain while also being a co-founder of Ethereum. This again, we're seeing all these links, we're putting them together, but Congress is not asking the tough questions that need to be asked. Hedera shows a bright sign, 12 billion transactions. They're the only company that's actually posting how many transactions they do. In my opinion, I'm really super bullish on Hedera. We'll see what happens. But Stuart Alderati comes out and says the law requires SEC employees, like all federal employees, to act and appear and to act impartially. The law asks, would a reasonable person knowing the facts question the employee's impartialities? You know the facts. So, in my opinion, we'll see what happens with this. But again, we have seen the SEC lack regulatory clarity. They have their own agendas and they're not actually protecting the average investors. Now, when we talked about the IMF developing a digital currency in the last video and then right at the beginning of this, do you guys remember when Brad Garlinghouse joked with Ross Lucal about XRP? It's all planned. And we saw right here from XRP Drew that on the IMF website right here, it says the coin issued by Ripple, which is the XRP token. So they're going to say that they're going to use this as the exchange token between currencies. And in my opinion, this is super bullish news for Ripple and the XRP token. And again, I am a little biased. I do own XRP, but we'll see what happens with this. But in my opinion, this is where I show that XRP is the standard and it will be implemented and the price should go up. Again, no financial advice. But Ripple says the adoption of CBDCs continues to grow, with many of the world's largest central banks planning to pilot and launch their own digital currencies to complement existing fiat currencies. Some examples include the Central Bank of Montenegro recently revealed a pilot program for a CBDC with Ripple. Brazil, the central bank announces its plan to launch a CBDC in 2024. The Digital Currency Monetary Authority has announced the Universal Monetary Unit, a digital coin designed to accelerate cross-border transactions. These examples demonstrate the future of money is digital. So, in my opinion, if you guys want to read more into this, there's an article linked, and everything's going to be in the comments. But crypto firm Ripple gets in principle payments license in Singapore. Again, super bullish for Ripple. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, says, as a major global financial center, Singapore led the way in taking a programmatic innovation first approach at crypto. We're incredibly proud of Ripple and is one of a handful of firms to receive in principle approval for a mass MPI license for digital payment token services. The last thing we're going to talk about right here is MAS has built a workable framework that truly unties consumer protection, market integrity, and innovation. They've also outlined a clear taxonomy to classify and regulate digital assets, making it possible for companies like Ripple to build and offer complement products. It is said many times, but bears repeatedly. Regulatory clarity will help drive crypto utility for real world use cases. So we're just waiting on adoption and regulatory clarity here in the United States. And in my opinion, the rest of the world will follow. Thank you guys for tuning into all of my videos. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you guys can't invest with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Thank you guys and have a good one.